Hi, today I'm at Chalkwell Auctions in Southend-on-Sea in Essex in England, and I have mentioned discussing mystery objects before now, so I thought I would start with three that I've found here today. To some of you they probably won't look particularly mysterious, but I'm always surprised how many older people even don't understand what things were used for, even just 50 or 60 years ago. But these three pieces, two of them at least, date from the 19th century and earlier, so perhaps you haven't come across them? Well, let's see anyway. First one, this rather interesting looking object here. It has a screw thread in it, and I've already had suggestions that it might be a nutcracker or something like that. It's actually a handle, as you can see, or it looks like a handle. Could even be a bell pull. Another suggestion was made, but actually it's nothing to do with any of those. It's a domestic object to do with food. So I'll move on to the other two, and then we'll do the three together at the end. So object number two is this rather interesting looking piece of silver. It is fully hallmarked, and it dates with the hallmark from the early part of the 19th century. And as you can see, it's got a rather nice scoop at this end and a tube sort of scoop at this end. The modern day suggestion for this has been that actually this could be used for a white powder if you were sniffing rather a lot of it. But I think it costs you a fortune if you're doing that with this. So another domestic object. It is solid silver, so obviously its purpose would have been quite important. And then third in the group is this one, which is very pretty, mother of pearl handle. And as you can see, it's a knife shape. This shape is often associated with fish servers or fish sets, but this has nothing to do with fish. So, have you had time to think about what these items might be? Well, let's go back and have a look. If you were the head of the household in the 19th century, even the early part of the 20th century, on a Sunday afternoon with the roast lunch, you would have been expected to carve. It wouldn't be left to the butler or to the maid or anybody like that. It certainly wouldn't be done in the kitchen. It would be done at the table. But a gentleman of the house would not be expected to get his fingers dirty. So with a roast lamb, this is where you would put the lamb leg. So the bone at the end of the lamb leg would be put in there, like my finger, which nearly got trapped, held in place, and then as you're carving, you would be carving, holding it nicely with your hands, serving the meat from the plate and not dirtying your hands. How posh is that? Talking of posh, and I did say that this is actually solid silver, so this is not intended for use in the kitchen. Something that you often see on MasterChef these days and programs of that kind is the sort of resurgence of interest in bone marrow, using bone marrow from beef or lamb as a stock or even as a paste to enhance flavour. But in the 18th and 19th century, it was quite normal to actually just eat the bone marrow directly from the bone itself. So bones, multiple bones, would be presented on a table, and particularly gentlemen who were wanting to enhance their virility would actually eat the bone marrow. So this is the scoop. This is the scoop to actually remove the bone marrow from the bone itself. However large the bone might be, put the scoop in and take it out and eat it directly. And then from the smaller bones, you have the smaller scoop. Still eating it directly, hence it being solid silver. And the last of the three, this one is only actually silver plated, although it's very pretty with the mother of pearl handle. This would also have been used at the table, and it might have been used on a domestic table, or perhaps in somewhere like a fancy tea room, or the Ritz, somewhere like that, a nice hotel. And this was used for curling the butter. You don't just take the butter off the top of the block of butter. We don't really have it that way these days. Few people buy blocks of butter, quarter pounds or whatever. But traditionally butter was made in the domestic kitchen. It was compacted with butter pats, made into a nice shape, and then you would curl the butter off like this and present it on the plate very smartly with the butter and the jam and the scones or the sandwiches, whatever you were making. So there you have a lovely butter curler. And that's your first 3 mystery objects. I hope you enjoyed them, and there will be more to follow. Bye.